with one of the more solid connections we have in the Witch. I got Lab Stand in my ear, but I know you guys can't hear him. It's going to be like a one-sided conversation. It's going to be a little bit strange, but we're going to push through it. All right, so I wanted to start this with one of the most solid connections we get in the Witch. It's always a crowd favorite. Just to show that there is some value to this discussion that we're going to have tonight. It seems like every day somebody puts out a new Witch explained video on YouTube. And I really haven't found any value in any of them. There's really no good research, and they don't bring anything new to the table. So all the things that I want to talk about tonight are things that I have never seen discussed on the internet. And I'm not trying to, whatever, say that I'm the only person that knows this stuff. I'm sure there are thousands of people out there that know it, but I guess I just want to start a deeper discussion about this film that we always love. Um, so like there are people that are going to watch this film 500 times, and they're never going to see Roger Williams or the Mystery Book or any of that, and it doesn't matter. Like that person still loves the film as much as I do or any of us. It's not a competition or anything like that. So, and the other thing is that there really is no wrong way to watch a film. Like whatever the movie is to you, that's what it is. This is just a sort of a tool that maybe people can use as a jump off and do their own research. So that's really what I want to do here. And the other thing is, I really wrestle with the thought that me sort of talking about this stuff openly kind of ruins this thing, and that's not my goal at all. Even though, like I said, I wanted to, like, whatever, expose this shit in my original Witch video. That was a bad choice of words. So anyway, let's just fucking get into it. So this scene connection comes from the Victor Seastrom film, The Outlaw and His Wife. There are plenty of Victor Seastrom connections to Robert Eggers films. This one's just one of the best, so let's go through it. And here's a scene from The Witch.
Are you Dalian?
All right, so that's kind of how this thing works, guys. It's whatever, just a small little homage or connection that you can make in your head to an older film. And God, there must have been like some silent film buffs that actually got to see this thing for the first time in a theater and go fucking crazy in public. That must have been an incredible experience. I wasn't that lucky, but so that's a fun one. I think I'm going to use that to segue into the next film, which is The Scarlet Letter. It's another Victor Seastrom film. It takes place in Salem, and it's about well, if everybody, most people should know this story. It's Nathaniel Hawthorne. It's most, I think it's like required reading in most schools. I didn't read it, but I didn't read it in school, but I read it after I watched a Robert Eggers film. So, oh, all right, where all right, so the connections between Thomason and the Lillian Gish character in the older film. I really don't want to go too much into the Victor Streestrom version of this film. I kind of want to leave it up to the viewer to sort of find these things on their own. I'll go through just a couple of them, like so. Hester Prynne in The Scarlet Letter, she hides her bonnet behind this little carpet that says vanity is an evil sin. And of course, in The Witch, we have when the silver cup goes missing, there's sort of a little argument about is it's that she doesn't miss it because of vanity. So, I mean, that's just a little one. Um, you can, I guess, find the rest. There are so many. I don't know if this is going well one-sided. I don't have anybody to bounce this shit off of. I don't know if anybody's getting this. I can't even see the chat. Thanks, Labstan. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I got Labs in my ear, guys. He can hear me, but you can't. I just can't figure out these computers, and I apologize. But all right. So there's another version of the Scarlet Letter that was made in 1934. We've got a lot more solid connections between this and The Witch. Just as an example, if anybody's seen my old The Witch Decoded video, I show examples of words that may have been taken, like exact words and sentences that were taken from books or, Roger Williams' journal, and he puts the words directly into the film as sort of a clue for the researcher to go and research these things. So, is an example of dialogue taken directly out of this older film and put in The Witch. So let's go through it.
Walks with the dignity of a queen. Has she no shame?
Peace, peace. She's a...
God save us. Kill it as
I
well.
don't know if the audio's working
We
for
must
this.
keep him still. And Thomasin,
That corn is trash.
we cannot back to that church.
We will starve.
Peace, peace.
There it is. All right, one more time. Sorry.
God save us. Kill it as well.
We must keep him still. And Thomasin,
That corn is trash.
we cannot back to that church.
We will starve.
Peace, peace.
I think the audio was a little high for that, but you can hear William says peace, peace, which
Walks
is
with
what
the
is said
dignity
here.
of a queen. Has she no shame?
Peace, peace.
Thank you, Labsin, for getting me that clip. You're the man. All right, so the next one. All right, so the soldiers. I don't know if this is historically accurate, but I did just notice that the soldiers from Salem Village in The Witch are dressed exactly the same as the soldiers from the older Scarlet Letter films. Um, so I don't know if that's a historical accuracy or a connection between these films, but I thought I would include it here. All right, so this is where it gets fucking. This is where it gets a little bit fucking crazy, guys. So I want to talk about this guy. Um, this is wild. So in The Witch, this man, the character is named Old Slater. Um, and I believe that this man is supposed to represent William Brewster, and William Brewster came over on the Mayflower. He was a Puritan, and he is known as the first pastor of America. And he was a Puritan spiritual leader, a very, very big figure in the early colony of Salem. And so we've got some really strange connections between William Brewster and this older film. That's a lot of fun. So it's my opinion that up on top, I have a still taken from the Scarlet Letter 1934. And this man that I've circled in red, I believe is supposed to represent William Brewster, who's also represented in The Witch. And I guess my evidence for that is the fact that he signs, or somebody signs, like they're having I don't know if this is like a church meeting or something, but everybody has to sign the book to show that they're present. And of course, William Brewster, his name is on the very top, and I find this just incredible because if we look at a copy of William Brewster's real signature, I mean they've fucking nailed it. How and this is a film from the 1930s, so this is not something you can just look up on Wikipedia. Like somebody really had to get their hands and eyes on this. It's just a really, really incredible connection. And as far as I can tell, in researching this character that I think represents William Brewster from the Scarlet Letter is unnamed. Like he doesn't have like there's no acting credit for this guy. Like it's not like his name is Mr. fucking Good now. Like he doesn't have a name. So I mean it's William Brewster, I think. Okay, so why does that matter? So William Brewster, I think we should just come back to that at the end after we have our little history discussion. This man was really important. I think he was a good guy. Uh, I don't know if it would be wise to talk about this now or later, but in The Witch, William trades his wife's golden cup for a set of like animal traps. And he said that the animal traps were given to him by a man named Indian Tom and Old Slater. And obviously, this is Old Slater and Indian Tom, in my opinion. I really don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this stuff, but really think that Indian Tom is supposed to represent Judas Didymus Thomas. And the Gospel of Thomas and the Gnostic teachings of Indian Tom. Of course, Judas Didymus Thomas, after the crucifixion of Christ, went to the Malabar coast, and there are many native-born Christians in India that consider themselves followers of Saint Thomas, Indian Tom. So if I see, this is where we get into pure speculation. I have no idea if Robert Eggers thinks that Roger Williams, William Brewster, and Indian Tom are good guys or bad guys. I really think he thinks they're good. I think they're good too, but I don't know. We'll come back to this. All right. Next is Way Down East. So D.W. Griffith, Way Down East. This film is a fucking masterpiece. If nothing, no value is given through this live show other than please, please, please go watch this movie. If I can just get one person to watch this movie, I will have considered this live show a success. This is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen, and I don't know if I would have ever seen it if it wasn't for Robert Eggers. All right, so the similarities between Thomason and the main character in this film, the floppy hat. This is the first time anybody ever gets to see Anya Taylor-Joy on camera, and I believe it's an homage to this older film, the way she's dressed, her hat, everything. So, um, basically, the main theme, and this is going to come back to William Brewster and all these other real people when we get to the end, but the main theme of The Witch is the conflict over the unbaptized baby Samuel. He's not baptized, and all of the characters have this conflict about what happens to a child that dies that isn't baptized. So in this film, and basically all of these older witch connected films, there's going to be a conflict about an unbaptized child. And of course, the lady's name is literally Anna in this film, which is pretty close to Anya. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but it is what it is. So anyway, the conflict in this film is that this girl becomes pregnant and she goes to give birth in a like a home for women that are unwed. And what happens, I don't know if I'm allowed to play this entire clip on YouTube, but I really want to. It's one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen. So the uh the pastors and the nuns, nobody will baptize this child because it doesn't have a dad, which is, bad. So what she does is she baptizes the child herself, and this should always make me cry. Uh, it's really heavy. This is a good movie. All right, I don't want to get the stream taken off by putting these too many of these clips on in this next one. All right, so I'm just gonna leave this one at that and really just hope that somebody out there takes the time to watch this film. This is an absolutely beautiful film. And if you like Robert Eggers and you want to gain more and learn more about these films, please, please give this one a watch. All right, so this is really what we all came here for. This is the one. This is one of my favorite movie connections of all time. It really doesn't get any more fun than this. This is really what it's all about, guys. Um, so where do we even begin? Okay, so let's just okay, so the comparison between Thomason and Barbara. Barbara is the main character of this film. She lives in Salem, and she's going to be accused of being a witch, and there is so much shit packed into this movie just on its own without even going into Robert Eggers' connections. But I'm going to try to get through all this. So this is really going to be hard to set up and explain, but there are actually how the fuck do I even say this? All right, so there are connections from this film and The Witch actually hidden in Robert Eggers' film The Lighthouse, and this is one of the most fun connections I've ever found. I wonder if people are going to get this. I really hope you do. So, all right, so there's this scene from The Lighthouse where the two Toms are talking about a young woman from Salem who takes off her bonnet. And so I'm just going to play the clip now and hopefully.
That I should see her. For then and down weren't the same since.
All right, so he's talking about a girl from Salem who takes off her bonnet. All right, I'm going to play you this clip from The Maid of Salem. All I can play, guys, because The Maid of Salem is not for free on YouTube, and I know that one of these, if I play them for too long, is going to get the stream taken down. But I would really like to know in the chat if anybody gets that they are talking about this older film, The Maid of Salem. Now, this film is made by Frank Lloyd, and I had included in my Lighthouse Explained videos, and I hope people understand that my the Northman explained or the lighthouse explained or the witch explained, and I'm doing that in double parentheses, super ironic, like it's a joke. Like films don't need to be explained to people. It's just your own interpretation. And when people put The Witch Explained as a clickbait YouTube title, like I hope people understand the irony that I'm not trying to like grab views and shit like that. But anyway, so that one's really, really interesting. One of the funnest things I've ever found. So let me know if you guys get it. Um, all right, so next we have the Mercy connection. So obviously Mercy in the witch is kind of who accuses Thomason of being a witch, and we've got another character named Mercy in the older film. All right, that's probably all I can play of that. So if people got those first two references, I felt like they were a little bit I don't know. The Mercy thing is super easy. If you ever see the two movies, you'll probably fucking put two and two together. That's a pretty solid connection. All right, so the next connection we have is Fowler. Fowler is the dog from the witch. He's a collie, and he gets killed by the witch. So we've got an example of Fowler from the Maid of Salem. So let me see if I can make you guys understand this. So there's a drunk in the town of Salem, and he claims to have seen the devil, and he talks to this old woman who was once accused of being a witch, who tells him that in order to keep the devil away from him, he needs to make a necklace out of hair plucked from a dog's tail. And I think that you'll find the resemblance between the dog and the older film and Fowler pretty interesting. So if you guys couldn't hear me talking over the fucking clip, Fowler gets killed by the witch and he howls in the exact same way that that dog from the older film howls. Do I have more on this? All right, yeah. So there's the picture of Fowler. It's fucked up, but all right, so then the exorcism in in the witch, we have of course basically every fucking event from the witch is also present in the Maid of Salem, from the storm, fucking everything is there. The more and more you watch the two films, the more and more you can draw comparisons between the two, and I really don't want to go through every single one because I want to leave something left on the bone for people. I sort of think that The Witch has been out for nearly a decade now, so I think some of this stuff is more okay to talk about. I think a lot of people know this stuff. It would just be nice to find somebody to talk to about it. So anyway, here's the exorcism scene from The Maid and the Saint. Uh-oh, my Zoom's running out of time. I hope it still works, guys. All right, all right, cool. All right, sweet. Peace, Labstand. Labstand says, "What's up, everybody?" It's crazy I couldn't get this shit to work, but it's all right. Okay, so this, holy fuck. This is it. This one absolutely blew my fucking socks off. This is and again, I want to go back to the lighthouse really quick before I talk about this. I think that when Old Tom says you're fond of me lobster, he's referring to this connection in The Witch. All right, so let's just try to explain this. All right, so the Satan figure in The Witch. This is how he's dressed. This is a picture of him behind the scenes. It's really the only way we get to see how he's actually dressed because the scene is shot in such low light that we don't even get to see this guy. But anyway, this is how he's dressed. All right.
Night.
And all right, so Jesus Christ, how do I set this up? So Barbara in The Maid of Salem is accused of being a witch because she was seen meeting out in the woods with a man, and when the children that see her meeting with the man ask who it was, she says it wasn't a man, therefore she won't get in trouble. But of course, then they tell the elders, and if it wasn't a man, then who was it? It's supposed to be Satan. So here is Barbara in court trying to explain, okay, that it actually was a man, and she's going to describe in every detail what he was wearing. And I want you to remember and listen closely to what the man was dressed. A feather in his hat, a dark cloak, and a long sword. It's the same person. It's Satan from the two movies. They're the same. All right, so now let's see this guy. Nope, wrong. Okay, anyway, this is the scene where he is in The Witch. I guess I'll show that. You can barely see his fucking nose, but anyway, that's how he's dressed. So, all right. I think that's all I can play of that clip, but this was really, really a special connection. So, all right, I want to go back to the lighthouse for a second. So this guy who, I don't know, is the inspiration for the Satan character in The Witch. His dad is a lobster fisherman, okay? And they trade lobsters to Barbara, who makes candles and whatever. So I think that when Rob or when old Tom in the lighthouse says, "You're fond of me, lobster," I've seen it. Anybody that gets this and has gotten this deep into Robert Eggers' films, I think it's inspiring, and I think it's inspiring you to keep digging. Like if you've gotten to the bottom of The Witch, you can get to the bottom of the lighthouse. And I really think I don't know, I think that's a strange connection. Obviously, that's completely speculative, and probably has nothing to do with anything, but it is what it is. This was a really fun one, guys. Maid of Salem is an absolute must watch. It's one of my all-time favorite films. Oh yeah, really quickly, Frank Lloyd. So there are other connections to Frank Lloyd in Robert Eggers films, and I put one of them in my Lighthouse video. I don't know if anybody's ever seen my Lighthouse video, but you can go check it out on my YouTube channel. It's basically a 45-minute film analysis of the lighthouse and the breadcrumbs and different things that are hidden in it. Um, and there's a connection to fuck, I'm forgetting the name of it now, but it's the knife blade snapping connection. So this would just be more evidence that maybe Robert Eggers is a fan of Frank Lloyd, and that people out there that like Robert Eggers should go and watch all the Frank Lloyd films. All right, now comes the next section of this. I'm definitely going to take a sip of whiskey for this because this is going to be fucking crazy. All right, guys, it's time to talk about some shit. All right, so we've got connections between this film and real life and in history. All right, so first of all, let's just quickly, all you have to do is go watch my witch decoding video. You can learn all this stuff. I don't really want to go through this shit too heavy, because it's already kind of out there. I do want to clear up some of the things that I fucked up in the original video, and I really feel horrible if I misled anybody, or please don't ever take my word for any of this research in any of my videos. Go do your own research and prove me wrong. I would love nothing more than to be proved wrong about any of this stuff. I don't know fucking anything about these films. I'm just, having a discussion with myself because I can't get Zoom to work. So, all right. So William, more or less, is inspired by this man, Roger Williams. And you can see this is probably one of the, again, one of the more fun connections I found. This is what made it all click for me. The very first little breadcrumb I got, and that was the costume that William wears in The Witch. This was so crazy. All right, so I had a buddy that went to Roger Williams University, and of course, we got fucked up hanging out with people down there, and I ended up seeing this statue, and the pants always stuck in my head. I don't know why. The statue's made really well, but the pants were like different. They were strange. And for some reason, when I saw it, that image always stuck in my head. And the first time I watched The Witch, when they looked at William from behind in the court scene, I saw the pants and it just clicked. I said, "Holy fucking shit, it's Roger Williams. Like, what the fuck is this movie?" If you look, you can even see that the costume is the exact same color as the statue. It's bronze. You can see it better here. Yeah, the costume seems to be designed entirely off of this statue of Roger Williams that is in Providence, Rhode Island. And I don't really want to get too heavy into whatever. I don't even know conspiracies around Roger Williams. There's a ton of shit I could say. I really, really want to try to tread lightly. More or less, this guy was kind of, one of the founding fathers of this country. All of the things that he taught, and they basically were just reinterpreted by a man named John Locke, and then all of those things ended up as our Constitution. This guy is incredibly important, um and also very strange, kind of a strange guy, but I don't know, we'll talk about him again in a second. So all right, Jesus, where do we even start with this? All right, so I think we're gonna start with this George Burroughs character. Okay, so okay, fuck, Jesus. All right, let's just go back to the whole Salem witch trial for a second. So again, I don't know if I'm like supposed to talk about this stuff, but I'm from Massachusetts. I know a thing or two about the Salem witch trials. So as far as I understand it, Salem at this time was divided into two different towns. There was Salem, and there was across the river Salem Village. And in Salem Village, there was a preacher named George Burroughs. This is crazy. So George Burroughs was tried as a witch, and you know, the evidence given at his trial was silly, you could say. They said he was in league with the devil and that he needed to die. So when he was on, what they would do back in the day is they would make you climb a ladder and then they would turn you off the ladder, and that's how they would hang you. So when he was on the ladder, um, what he did was he recited the Lord's Prayer, which is something that you're not supposed to be able to do if you're bewitched. And in that moment, basically the entire crowd was about to take him off the ladder and say, "Yeah, this is fucking madness. We got to stop this." And this man named Cotton Mathers convinced the crowd that he was a witch and he needed to die. Now, this is, I don't even know like what I should even say about this, but so Cotton Mather's is actually mentioned in The Maid of Salem, and what they say is, "Have you seen Cotton Mather's book on witchcraft?" And the book that Cotton Mather's wrote was literally called On Witchcraft, and basically what he tried to do in this book is justify his and his father's role in the Salem witch trials. So let's get back to George Burroughs. George Burroughs, this is so crazy. He was a preacher, but he was not an ordained minister, which means that, you know, they say he was the first minister ever and the only minister ever hanged in the ever on the continent of America in its entire history, but the man wasn't actually ordained. So I don't know. This is where it gets a little bit. I don't know too much about theology, guys. I'm so sorry, but the problem that they had with this guy is that he was preaching from the book of Revelations, and that's supposedly why they killed him and took all of his property. Now, of course, there's a lot more to that, but the other thing that's very interesting about George Burroughs is that you can even look this up on his Wikipedia. He was said to secretly be a Baptist. He did not have his children baptized. And that's very, very interesting because, again, the entire theme of The Witch is that William doesn't have his children baptized. Roger Williams was the man who created the first Baptist church ever. And so, you know, were these all these people secret Baptists? Is Robert Eggers pro-Baptist? I don't really want to know. I don't really want to speculate on the theology shit because I'll fuck it all up like incredibly, like I did in the first Witch video. Um, I have so much more to say. You know, we could go into Haxon, we could go into the lady that came back. Let's just check the chat. Is anybody following me? Is anybody seeing this? I don't want to do too much dead air. Um, uh-oh. Oh no. Fuck. Did it quit? Is the shit down? Uh-oh. It looks like my shit went out for a while.